Hello, everybody. We're back after 2 weeks or whatever it was. Yeah, sequence of trips, but welcome back to SteakDora the Explorers, looking at REL 1 and 2A div review. This is going to be weeks 8 and 9, kind of. We're gonna cop out a little bit on week 8, I think. We will look at the results, but probably go pretty quick. They're less relevant now, and we don't have a million years to do this. You know, last week I was in San Diego for a work thing, so I wasn't able to stream. And the week before that, Shadorra was in Hawaii, so he wasn't able to be my co-host. So we're finally back to regularly scheduled Blood Bowl things for the last couple weeks of all this nonsense. So things should be good now.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not even going anywhere for Christmas, I've decided.
Oh, really? You're not coming out to visit me?
No, that was this summer. I was going to go out to San Francisco was the original plan to visit Tristan's family, or at least like meet them somewhere in the continental United States,
Right.
Or potentially Hawaii again. But Tristan and I decided to kick it here. Our friend is coming from Japan, and we want to hang out with him and his new boyfriend. So
Sweet.
It's like the guy is from Taiwan and has never been to Canada and has never been anywhere cold. So,
Oh, that'll be fun.
yeah, we're gonna get a mountain.
Montreal in December. Here you go.
December and January. They're here for most of a month.
Just like,
So
you've never been anywhere cold. Here's Montreal in January. Just like throwing him in the boiling pot of water.
here's negative 40 Fahrenheit or Celsius. It's negative 40.
It's negative 40. It's the same. Doesn't matter. Oh man, that's
we're gonna
nuts.
go rent a chalet on the side of the mountain, and it's gonna be a mountain because there are many to choose from. It's gonna be great. Not coming to SF. I do love SF, and it is way more temperate in December than it is in Montreal. But yeah, we're like turning. Well, we just turned 30, so we're like maybe we should get Tristan's mom used to us not literally visiting every single Christmas. So.
Yeah. I met 130 while I was in. Well, I met him again. I met him before when I was in San Diego before, but we had ramen together when I was down there last week and watched Dwiggy's game on 130's phone while in the restaurant while we were eating ramen.
That is the most hilariously antisocial shit.
It was pretty good. Right. So the plan for this week is normally this week would be a match review week, and last week was supposed to be team review. But since we missed last week, if we wait till next week to do team review again, we're going to be super far behind the time. So we're kind of throwing up our regular routine, and we're gonna do team reviews this week, and then we'll do like matches next week, and we'll just pretend that 1 week didn't exist, and we'll fix everything. Okay, so shall we go into this?
Yeah.
Let's. I gotta remember where my buttons are. There we go. Okay, so this is 2 weeks ago, technically, in REL 1 for the results. Because we do have
I predicted these.
Yeah, because we have predictions for these.
Did you guys predict?
Or no,
So
you
was...
didn't predict these. This was.
I didn't predict, but you have me as an ogre again in the small screen.
Oh, oops! I didn't mean to do that. Let me fix that. Justin Cam.
So you got the scores from the week you had someone else on here, right? Though.
Yeah, I have the predictions from the week. It was the Red Joker. Was here 2 weeks ago.
No, not the predictions. The scores, though, because we also.
I took care of. I took care of that. Cool. Yeah. So as of right now, before that time, we did really well that week. That Red Joker was filling in for you, like so the week that you predicted. Well, the week that you predicted, and I reviewed. I'm confused in my own head. We did very, very well. We're up to 14 and 10, me, you, respectively. So like suddenly jumped up from our 50% rating. We were like dead on that week. We got everything right.
Well, there were 2 contentious picks, but you're still 2 points or 4 points ahead. So I assume I didn't do. I assume we split down the middle.
Well, we have to do the points for the week that Red Joker predicted as you.
Great. I hope he was as good as T-Self. There's
a decent number of contentious picks, and he actually there's one result in here that I think will please you, but I think that's in 2. Where were we? Okay, so Greenskin Brawler. This is 2 weeks ago, so these are matches that we haven't looked at yet. We're not gonna like actually go through these results because we want to go through quickly. Greenskin Brawlers versus the Bad Apples. That doesn't count because that was an admin game.
Oh no, Bad Apples didn't play their game. That sucks.
It was like he was on a vacation and wasn't going to be around type thing. Like there's nothing we could do about it. That was a contentious pick. So we just kind of lose out on that one, I guess. Then we had you're gonna make fun of me again. Conspiration Entrepique.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, it was very like French, but you did it.
I tried. Well, I'm not very French. And the Rowdy Rebel Rousers. We both predicted Nurgle here because it was, Atomics.
Oh, Nurgle. I would have picked. No, come on. Boo. No, I mean, actually, I probably would have picked.
I mean, go down players, and then being down players against Dwarves as Orcs is not exactly where you want to be. A couple casualties, couple KOs on both sides.
I think it was a really even punching game. Just maybe Rage Dwarf managed to 2-turn? Dwarfs, something like that? I don't know.
We're not going to get... We'll look more in detail in the week that just happened. Non-anime sports team and Archangel's Will. So I predicted Archangel, and you, or Red version of you, predicted the High Elves. So
excellent.
You win that
Perfect.
one. I thought just the Wood Elves are going to be able to. It is Travel Scrabble and Jimmy Burrito. We both predicted Travel Scrabble. I mean, it's a bigger, scarier Necro team in the Necro mirror.
I mean, also just got the God removal dice. Thick, Rich, and Creamy actually got more breaks, but got only 4 removals, and Scooby and the gang got much more.
5 injuries. Oof.
Yeah.
1 death.
Regen was really good for Thick, Rich, and Creamy, so.
And we both predicted me for this game, but I don't even want to talk about this game. Please, I want to forget it forever.
Oh, let's discuss you getting the shit kicked out of you by lizards.
22 armor breaks, 9 armor breaks. We'll put it that way. 2 deaths.
Got an MVP. He got literally no SVP other than that.
Two deaths sustained. 0% regen. There was a lot of failure. It wasn't 0% regen, but both those deaths were permanent. Those are my two. That was my Rackle Pestigore, and my Niggled right now. But yeah, okay. No, I just got he armor broke me into the earth, and there was nothing I could do. It was a miracle I managed to make this a tie. So I mean, at least that's a thing. But that was this is the one matchup all season that I probably would have predicted for myself, because I think I'm pretty good against lizards. Nurgle are pretty good against lizards. His team was in a bit of rough shape. I have a lot of Claw Mighty Blow, which is good against lizards. No, 22 armor breaks, your team is dead. Fuck you. Is pretty much what happened in this game. All right, and then in what makes sense, Nurgle versus Lizards, we also predicted Nurgle for Fear and Bloating versus Charlestown Chiefs, and I was right for once.
Yay!
In the Nurgle versus Lizard matchup. In a thing that makes way more sense, 13 armor breaks versus 9. 22 armor breaks. That was insane. Off of 30, 40 blocks or whatever.
All right,
it was.
We don't get to talk about your game 3 times as long as everybody else. We're done.
We have to, because I was in them. So,
it's not how it works. No bias.
No, it's not bias. It's just I know what happened in them because I played it versus the other ones we have to guess.
All right, so we don't have predictions for this one. Going down quickly, I would have expected Atomics to beat the Bad Apples. Nurgle are good against Dark Elves. Dark Elves are a bit too slow usually to be too annoying. They can be annoying if they have blodge spam, which of course he does.
A lot of it.
But these Nurgle have the skills to deal with that, and even if they didn't get the kill they needed, they just seemingly out-controlled them, maybe some key failures from the Dark Elves.
I talked about this a little bit 2 weeks ago with Red Joker, as he is a fellow Nurgle coach. We felt like if you were playing Nurgle and you are told you have to play an elf team and you get to pick your elf team, you would pick Dark Elves. And that's just basically because it's not so much the agi that annoys you, it's just the speed. When your fastest player is movement 6, them just leaving is such a big problem. And the Dark Elves are the slowest elf team, so that's kind of the best you can hope for as Nurgle is getting Dark Elves.
And then Greenskin Brawls versus Rage Dwarf, I would have definitely picked my boy Professor Chaos here. Orcs
probably
are good against dwarves, especially developed orcs. Developed orcs are just stronger dwarves. They have just as much guard, just as much mighty blow, but they have strength 4 pieces
and more movement and more agi,
and they don't have a bunch of wasted tackle. So I'm not surprised this went this way. Looks like a lot of punching on both sides. Yeah, the dwarves got out removed for sure.
Yes, they did.
Didn't get the removals they needed.
A lot of fouls, I guess. 3 injuries inflicted, but 7 casualties sustained for Rage Dwarf.
Oh wow, jeez, I didn't even see that part. Fouls and dodges, maybe? Who even knows?
Well, there was a chainsaw involved.
That would have been.
I don't understand.
Looks like a snaked chainsaw or a failed. Wait,
Once again, I don't understand the chainsaw because there's 3 successful chainsaws for Ragedorf and 2 failed chainsaws for the Greenskin Brawlers.
That's twice he activated it in melee range. Once he used it to foul. So 3 times he had to roll the 2+. He made it every time.
Then what about the 2 for Greenskin Brawlers?
So the 2 fails are that the armor rolls that he happening there. Something along those lines.
Chainsaw was not very impactful, is what we're saying.
Against Orcs. Who would have thunk? Armor 9 is Armor 9.
Also, Boomer was around. Impact of the bomb, 3 successes.
Again, I don't know what success means in this case.
Neither do I. The dice block doesn't make any sense. I like the 12 sixes and block dice aren't great.
Whatever. Archangel did pull out a win here. This would have been close for me to call, I think. I know that Thessa has despite the fact that Archangel rolled 28 armor rolls and failed 19 of them. He had a 32% successful armor rate, which is pretty nice.
Wow. Some serious elf bullshit in this one, yeah.
That's the only way you could make that work, I think, because he did get removed pretty hard. 6 KOs, 4 casualties, and a death. Hopefully nothing important. He only has a few important things, so odds are good. Scooby and the Gang versus Cheese Tactics would have 100% gone with the Necro here.
Yeah, same.
Sure, Cheese has a bunch of like scary guard and things, but the Necro have crazy stat freaks, Claw Mighty Blow, just the ability to cause attrition and enough guard to kind of get in, guard and strength to get in where they need to go. And Claw Mighty Blow hits on double niggled cheese pieces. Oof.
Yeah.
Also got 100% regens, which is a thing.
Gotta catch them all, and not an anime sports team. I wouldn't have predicted myself for this one, but once again, I sort of somehow
especially not down a Rackle and a Killer. No, I would have expected you to lose this pretty hard.
You know what's even more fun about this? Another player died on my team, so a third. I'm averaging more than 1 death per game so far this season.
Nice.
It's like 1.2 deaths a game right now.
Your killer's still alive, Wheaton Beaties. It was the fledgling killer?
Nope. He died last game.
Yeah, wait, who died last game?
My Rackle, and I have 2 killers. I had a Mighty Blow, Claw, Tackle, Block, Juggernaut, Niggled Pestigore, and then Type 2 Weeping Beaties is the other killer.
Okay. Well, Type 2 Weeping Beaties is the important one.
He is. Well, so I've told the story before, but the other one was the first killer, and he got niggled, and I was like, oh, cool, well, he's going to die eventually, so I'm going to start building a second killer, and then he just never died or got any other injuries, and now he's dead. So that's why I've started building a second killer. But no, another one of my players died this game, so like 3 deaths in 2 games. Yes. Take a guess.
Nurgle Warrior?
Nope.
Beast of Nurgle?
Yep. My Blodge Firm Beast of Nurgle died.
He was niggled.
He was double niggled, actually.
You fucking suck.
Well, what am I supposed to do, man? I've had more than one.
Get niggled. Roll better.
I've had more than 1 death a game. I've never had any money. I couldn't afford to replace him. So now I have no Beast of Nurgle and 3 Pestigores on this team. It's pretty good.
So then Charlestown Chiefs versus Thick, Rich, and Creamy. This would have been interesting. I don't think that...
I mean, if you want the actual story...
I don't think Tim Burrito's Necro team is killed. No, I don't want the actual story. You talk way too much about your own team.
I removed enough elves to make it easy to control them. Done.
All right. Great.
There you go. Thick, Rich, and Creamy versus Charlestown Chiefs.
I would have expected Thick, Rich, and Creamy to do better here. Necro tend to do pretty well against lizards, though I know Charleston Chiefs have some pretty scary skinks to deal with, but he does have the Claw Palm Wolf to take out Source, but I guess he just couldn't quite get it online and was getting punched pretty hard in return. Was he getting the regen dice he needed? No. So that's what happens with Necro. Sometimes is the lizards. So the lizards don't have a ton of kill, but they block a lot. Like lizards are constantly punching, constantly getting, the occasional stun and things like that, just through like law of large numbers at that point. But what they fail against is like armor 8 regen teams, just because the odds of you generating meaningful removals against that team are pretty low, even with a couple Mighty Blows kicking around. But if the regen fails,
and they stay off.
As soon as lizards have a numbers advantage, it just gets real out of hand real fast.
It continues to
Fear and Bloating versus Fogmire Fan Beast. Yeah, I would have expected the Nurgle to take this pretty hard, and they did.
As we've seen in every other game but mine, Nurgle versus Lizards is pretty favored to Nurgle. Yes. And I continue to break all trends forever, apparently.
Lizards suck at getting removed. Lizards want to do handoffs. Lizards have high player values. There's a lot of things that make the Nurgle matchup really god-awful.
As long as the Nurgle are like reasonably developed, which anyone but me in REL 1 are.
Anyone but me in REL 1 are is a good sentence.
It makes sense. Nurgle teams. I'm referring to all Nurgle teams. So
anyone but me in REL 1 are it is because technically correct.
Because I'm referring to all Nurgle teams.
Yeah. You are, yes. There are more than one other Nurgle team.
Yeah.
So, anyway, that's that. So let's look at the teams, I guess.
Well, we can.
Let's look at the leaderboard. I guess.
Nobody's played this week yet, so this leaderboard is accurate and correct.
Fear and Bloating and Travel Scrabble tied for first.
Yeah, there's still quite a bit of closeness in this div. I mean, I think all the way down to like. So Travel Scrabble and the Red Joker are both tied with 20 points. They've got their advantage right now with their 6 wins. But Tessa and Atomics and Professor Chaos are all at 16. Archangel and myself are both at 15. So like we're only 1 point down to 7th. I'm 1 point behind third in 7th place.
With a touchdown differential of 1.
Yes. But the touchdown differential of Archangel is 2. The touchdown differential of Professor Chaos is 3. So like Travel Scrabble and Red Joker are pulling away a bit here at the top, but the other 2 playoff spots are easily reachable for any one of the 3rd through 7th coaches. And even ArchXL still has a shot. He's 13 points, so he's 1 win behind the people at the top, but at that point you're kind of relying on the people at the top to lose and you winning instead of just focusing on your own games. And then Charlestown Chiefs have a shot as well. They're 10 points, it's 2 wins. So 3 weeks away, or 3 weeks left, it's still possible, but it's not particularly great. Cheese, Jimmy Burrito, Unseen Walker, and A-Grain and Rolling Red are down there, probably out of contention at this point, or at least very, very close to being out of contention.
Rage Dwarf has a 0.1% chance of making playoffs, apparently.
There you go. Very close.
He's not statistically removed, he's just nearly statistically removed.
I mean, technically I still have Drenar's predictor around somewhere from last season, but I was talking to him about it, and apparently there's some issues with pulling the data right now, so I don't know how easy it would be to set up.
That was because I think the API was busted, but I think it's back up now. Unless there's something else going on. He did rework it this season, I think.
I haven't re-downloaded the new version, so I don't actually have it available. But maybe next week I'll pull that up and we can start looking at those.
Yeah. You want to talk about cheese real quick while I go pour myself a bowl of soup? I didn't eat dinner. So.
All right, I can do that.
I believe in you.
Here we go. Here's Cheese's team. I mean, Baby Swiss still exists. He is double nickeled and is still alive somehow. New thrower. He hasn't. We talked a couple weeks ago about him recycling the thrower because it got injured, and it looks like he did. We've still got the contention of 4 Black Orcs, or cohort of 4 Black Orcs. The 2 rookie ones have at least picked up a level, so they are getting closer to being on par with their friends. This one is a little. He probably needed the guard somewhere, but this one is going to be hard to catch up because he's not going to do as many blocks as everybody else. But, we've still got the injuries lying around, so it's 1 niggle on the Black Orc, which is kind of scary. I think this one is just a movement bust. Yeah. Then we have the really good blitzers, the pair of legends are still around. Canadian Cheddar and Gruyere. One is faster than normal, one is slower than normal. Except it's Gruyere, because it's spelled wrong. They're very good blitzers, but, the double niggles on Canadian Cheddar is so scary. He's such a good player that having that extra chance to just have him removed is pretty terrifying. The problem is he has no money, so I know that feel, bro. We've got another Juggernaut blitzer now. Head Cheese, Mighty Blow Frenzy, Juggernaut. So we've got a Frenzy surfing threat here. He doesn't have his stand firm, but that's the 3rd Juggernaut on the team. So we have a lot of Juggernaut options now, which is kind of cool. Swiss is still around as well. On his way to Legend, we almost have 3 now. 2 linemen. We still have the dirty player, and we have the regular lineman. Normally, I'd be like, you don't have a 3rd lineman for the line, but the troll is around. I mean, probably. Like, this guy's double niggled. He is going to die at some point. And then he'll be his replacement. He's not double niggled, he's just slow. So he's the other piling on to replace him. And this is the frenzy piece. He's going to want to get stand firm. No 3rd lineman, but he's putting the troll on the line anyway. No money, but he has a bench of 2 at least. So we can keep Baby Swiss safe for now. But if you ever start losing players, it's going to be annoying.
How about he just starts putting Baby Swiss on the line?
And then Arch Excel, not an anime sports team. Oh, another thing that really helped my game is that Absolute Not Air Gear was MNG'd for it, so that kind of made a huge difference for me. Really, really did, because I was able to like force his players into the backfield, and he couldn't just throw it away. Anyway, he had a blitzer. Oh, I think that strength bust was also me. I strength busted, probably not Megaloblocks. He's a rookie. I don't know if you want to keep him, but what? They're also 100k.
In what world would you keep a strength busted blitzer?
No world. But I don't know if you can afford to buy it. Like, I don't know if you buy a new one right now. It's nice, and you'd want to get them leveled, but it would drop you down to 50k. And since you're gonna, like, I don't know, it depends on how much you feel like you need them for your next game or not, I guess.
I'd probably buy him, yeah.
If you don't feel like you need him for your next game, he's gonna be MNG'd anyway. Maybe hold off and then get yourself a little bit of extra money, but in case something else terrible dies. But I suppose they're important. You'd probably just buy it.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't think he didn't get any levels versus me, as far as I know, but whoever he's playing this week is pretty happy that I, MNG'd both a blitzer and one of the guard linemen.
Yeah, so he's probably going to buy a new blitzer, so he will have the full complement of blitzers. He'll have both mighty blows. He'll have a guard, at least. It's not a bad-looking team. It doesn't have a lot of the bullshit that you kind of need to be an elf team at this div. In this div, I should say, but...
It's worth noting at full strength this elf team outguards me, which is sad. But yeah, there isn't a whole lot of new things here. But yeah, he'll buy a new blitzer. Absolutely Not Air Gear is still incredible, and the game against him would have been super different if he was around, because it just gives you that out. You can hide in the backfield and then still have a really decent like scoring threat just by hucking it downfield. Or even running and then hucking it downfield is pretty speedy. But he wasn't available for my game. This catcher, the catchers are so good on this team as well. Still a really good solid piece base, but I think what he really wants is some sort of elf nonsense. Like that movement 9 catcher is a good start, but I think he wants an Agi 5 somewhere or something to be like really nonsensical.
Yeah, he needs a stat freak.
Yeah. Thick, Rich, and Creamy, Jimmy Burrito. Not as bad as the TV would state, because it's just a bunch of MNGs, it looks like.
No, I mean, El Padrecito is niggled.
Well, that's unfortunate, especially since he's piling on, because you're going to want to pile on with him. But he's too good to get rid of. But that's 240k gone for a game. Melty Monterey Jack has just picked up a just an MNG, I think, or is that no? It's an Agi bust.
The unfair. No, he was already Agi busted. You can see because it still lists an MNG.
Oh, I see. And
Bear has eaten a movement bust, unfortunately.
Yeah, but yeah, that is unfortunate. But that's 240, 180, and 110 TV out for a game, because that's 3 positionals. Oof. But you still have Paris Stilton, who's pretty good. You still have the Flesh Golems, which one of them is a rookie, but one of them is still pretty good. Depends on who he plays next, but it could be a one-man show, sort of, in Paris Stilton, depending on who he goes up against. Because with how many zombies does he have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he only gets one bench. So his team is going to be 13 or 1290 for his next game. So a lot of inducements as well. So Wizard or potentially Cheney for another Wolf. But we'll talk about that when we get to the matches. I think it's just injuries that we've picked up in terms of things here. No new levels. Melty Monterey Jack is 1 SPP from a level. Just kind of, I don't know what you take there. He's movement 5 and Agi 2. Guard, Mighty Blow, Stand Firm, Dodge. he is that sort of that. I mean, I guess you kind of hope for like a strength up, but I don't know what you take.
He clearly wants to be.
Yeah, he's basically just a flesh golem pillar. I don't know what sort of what other skills you'd be taking there on him. Tackle maybe, just so if people try to dodge away, you have the tackle option. So Rolling Red, Fogmire Fen Beasts, they're recovering. They were in a rough spot near the start of the division, but they're starting to get there. You know, they've got their Agi 4 Skink, so that there's always options when he's around. They're up to 5 Saurus now, but one of them is a rookie and one of them is, it looks like MNG'd. I don't see an injury there. I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
It looks dark blanked out, but I don't actually see any kind of injury, so I don't know what's going on there. Anyway. Dwarf Pube the Great has some sort of injury now, it looks like. He's movement 5, which is kind of sad. Because one of the big benefits of Croxagores is how speedy they are for a big guy. 5 is still pretty fast for a big guy, though. But it's not 6.
It's above average, but it is not the fastest big guy, which is this guy, until the Bloodthirster is a thing.
Tredge is strength 5, who is the most annoying player in the universe, by the way. After having played this team, the strength 5 break tackle blodge step Saurus is super frustrating. Just like, here you go, might like mark up the ball with his like strength 5 sidestep guy. I'm like, oh god. Like, yeah, this guy caused me all sorts of issues in our game against him. He's kind of unfair. Now that he's gotten, starting with dodge is certainly a weird choice, but now that he's blodge step plus strength, like, ugh, it's really annoying. Still needs to pick up another Saurus, and he actually can. He's got 170, so I'd be surprised if we don't see him get one, because otherwise you're going to get a loner skink, and you might as well get them up for MVP choices or MVP potentials. We're missing the sneaky get skink for the next game. In fact, no, it's just an MNG. I like Science Experiment. I don't know what the plan is with Science Experiment, but the fact that he named a skink Science Experiment in all caps implies to me that he has a plan for this skink.
Given how Rolling Red levels up his team, I really hope that someone kills it before I have to see what he plans for a Science Experiment.
I want to know what a Science Experiment skink is. I'm really excited. And we have Fear and Bloating by the Red Joker. Nurgle team. It's a Nurgle team that looks totally healthy, other than there's a movement 3 warrior and an armor 8 warrior, but it's solid otherwise. You're more worried about like niggles and stuff as Nurgle.
Yep. It's got the gross Gishmalgores. Other than that, it's got a solid suite of Nurgle warriors. I don't think anything here is really new.
The beast has picked up break tackle, I think, which is kind of nice. It's sort of he's already got guard and stand firm, so it's the third like I don't have a good skill to take, or I haven't rolled doubles on the beast yet skill. It's really handy because a lot of times people will just like mark up your beast like a zombie or whatever and be like haha, and now you can reposition him. Or there's a lot of times where you if I only could make a dodge, I could get this beast onto like 5 elves, and that would be incredible.
And 70% of the time you can do it.
Yeah. Whereas before it's just not an option. I mean, that's why it's a bonus skill, right? Like guard and stand firm are more important for very obvious reasons, but having it is nice because it opens up a few more options that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, I've done the things that are important. This beast isn't doing anything. If I could make that like one dodge, I could mark up like his 2 best elves and lock them down. Like that's worth a 70% a lot of the time against an elf team. Yeah, so it's standard Nurgle warriors. I don't think, like you said, there's a whole lot new. Very close to Dathazan the Displacer from leveling, and with Claw Mighty Blow, it's pretty likely that he does. Tackle or Stand Firm, both good options, is the next level there, I think. 6 SPP for his ball carrier, so that should also be pretty easy. I don't know what you take as a legend skill with him.
Fend, probably.
Yeah, Fend or pray for a stat, like literally any stat.
Yep, literally any stat would be great. Thotho's Rotma's guard is new. Really big thing for him to get up to 5 guard on Nurgle is a solid.
Yeah.
5/6 is really the ideal. So
5 is pretty much where you're aiming for, namely in that you have your 4 warriors and your beast with it. and then you can get your bonus Pestigore one if you are in a luxury situation. But he's got it on all the main guys for it, which is really nice. A wall of 4 Nurgle warriors that are guard claw mighty blow is just like, oh god, how do I deal with this? Very annoying. And token dirty player rotter, and then a couple of regular rotters. You don't need a massive bench of them, but if you start getting more money and don't have to replace anything, cry. You can keep getting more. You don't really care. You're 2,100. You're never getting inducements. You don't care if you're giving a few extra away. You might as well just have the big old bench for more fouls and more blade of armor and stuff. Charlestown Chiefs? Steer?
Yeah, I have souped.
What sort of soup was it?
Spicy sausage soup.
That sounds delicious.
It is soup and dark beer season, so.
That's very true. We're getting there. It's not quite that cold here yet, but we're almost there.
Oh, it's been beautiful since I landed until today, when it dropped 10 degrees Celsius and it was like a crazy wind rainstorm.
We had the crazy wind rainstorm too, yeah. Wasn't that cold though? It was just very windy and raining. Another in what is a theme for the 2 Lizardmen teams in a division full of Nurgle. We have a slightly diminished Lizard team.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 rookies, 4, 5, one of which has an AV bust.
We can't afford to replace him almost. But he's a rookie, so once you play your next game, and if you roll decently on winnings, because you don't want to go down to like no money in case you lose like a Crocs or something. But if you roll decently on winnings, you can replace him after your next game, and as long as he doesn't level, you might as well. If he does, then maybe you keep him. Armor 8 isn't terrible, especially since almost everybody in the div has claw anyway. But it really depends on what happens next game. I think you hold on to it for now.
It's a little rough right now, but maybe with a little luck he can rebuild. Hey, look, it's you.
What?
Oh man, you are fucked.
Oh, we're looking at my team. I thought we weren't done.
There's not much else to say about the Lizards. They don't have anything really new or exciting.
Well, the one turn sort of sprint, sure feet, jump up, Agi skink, his movement busted, which is really sad. He's not much of a one.
He wasn't a one turner.
No, but he's sprint sure feet and then got movement busted.
Yeah, he's just the ball carrier.
Well, no, there's a plus movement skink who's been strength busted.
So that's the one.
It's really funny. It's like no,
Dennis Lemieux has been
strength busted a while.
Has been strength busted for a while.
Yeah.
So you have
my team's fucked.
2 Nurgle warriors. Is this guy just Agi busted, or have you gotten rid of all your niggles?
No, he's double niggled as well. But he's the only good player on the team, so I can't get rid of him.
He's also your only remaining niggle. Yeah. 1 more to go.
I know, right?
Is he the only original player left?
Yes. I don't even know. I don't remember if he's even an original player. It's very close to an original player. I think so. But he is the only original one left, as far as I know.
He played
at least closest to original. I don't know.
81 matches. That sounds like original to me.
He might have been a very early replacement, but I'm pretty sure he's original. Yeah. I mean, Hepatitis B drill is 2 SPP from leveling, and then he gets guard, which is good. But with a rookie Nurgle warrior, a rookie Pestigore, no Beast of Nurgle, and no 4th Pestigore.
Oh, you're straight fucked. It's really funny.
And mine not even a full team. Like, yeah, this
You're
team
only playing Dark Elves this week at least.
Yeah. It's rough. I mean, I have a ball carrier who's okay. I have a killer who's good. I have a Nurgle warrior who's almost good. I have a Nurgle warrior who's almost good, and I have a good Nurgle warrior who is double niggled. So yeah, super fucked. If I lose that Nurgle warrior in the next game or two, am I rerolling? Probably. I really don't want to, because I've played this team since college. Like, it's, I don't know, there's like that emotional attachment, even if it's bad. But like trying to play like a beastless 3 Pestigore 2 Nurgle warrior team in REL 1 is going to be like just unfun for a season. So who knows? No, if I reroll, I'm doing something dumb. I'm going to do a dumb fucking stupid thing for a season and play like ogres or goblins and just throw goblins at people and have a really good time for a season and like pick stupid level ups. And then after that, maybe after that one season, like Steam release season, I'll probably do something different. Maybe Agi, maybe like, I don't know, Hyles and Skaven are both like tempting right now. I am inherently sort of a bash coach, but playing the other side for a season might give me a little insight into how to like play them as a bash coach. You know, just see what the bash coaches do and see what annoys me when I play an agi team. But we'll see. I mean, there's no decision even remotely close to whether I'm rerolling or not.
So Nido Kidney Disease was around when you were playing a friendly versus me, which was your 5th game. So I'm guessing that it's OG.
Yep. So he must be then, yeah. So he is an OG player.
It must not count friendly matches in the match listing, which makes sense. Because you've played 90 or you've played 87 matches and he's been around for 81.
Oh, I can't like load it from here. I can't look at the stats. No, not from the old teams. Okay, yeah, he's
because the div has been deleted.
Oh yes. My very first game with this team was against a team called Alcoholics Anonymous. Apparently.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go.
My first game ever in Blood Bowl on like a competitive league was against Big Chuck, who is still around. I beat him.
The Children of Ymir? Oh no, that must have been no, that was a postseason punch-up game. Anyway, that's not relevant now. Scooby and the gang, Travel Scrabble? He's 2 years old. Aww. What an old Nurgle warrior.
Travel Scrabble's team still looking like Travel Scrabble's team. I don't see any serious damage. He hasn't paid any taxes lately.
Nope. Still has players in an annoying order, and he still has the good players.
He's picked up guard on Minor 49er. That's solid. Top Cat was already niggled. Not a lot of new stuff. He's pushing Legend with 3 players. So that's not surprising. But,
yeah, and a lot of lower level guys. He's got a new ghoul. His like the ball. There was a good ghoul. I think he was movement busted, but had a bunch of stats.
He was movement busted, but he was strength up, I think.
Yeah, he's dead now. But there's a new one who's picked up block, so he's blodge. He can be the ball carrier whenever Muttley the Third does not have it. And can keep up with the werewolves now that he's not a movement busted ghoul. There's a pending level on Ginger, which is a great band, by the way.
Probably fired.
I mean, you could take Wrestle.
You could, but you've already got a dirty player, and you're at 2020. I would consider holding on to him until you see like where you're at TV-wise against your next matchup, and consider firing him.
Yeah, potentially. But I think Wrestle really is the only choice there.
Yeah,
if you don't keep him. Like maybe kick, I guess, but I think you already have one. Yeah, you do on Dr. Johnson, so there's no reason for that. I mean, Fend maybe if you're really dedicated to keeping him around, but I don't know if you need to, especially when you're 2020.
I wouldn't do Fend first. Like Wrestle saves you from getting the shit kicked out of you more often than Fend does on the LOS, right?
Yeah, that's probably true. Well, Wrestle means you're probably getting fouled, but he's a zombie, so if your opponent's fouling him, you're probably okay with it.
He's almost certainly taking down something bigger and more important. Yeah. Archangel's Will does still have all of the 3 players that matter.
In fact, look, it's not a 5-player team anymore.
It's not.
It has 7 players.
It does.
He's got a thrower.
He does, yeah. I'm sure that player is going to go on the line almost immediately.
That is a reasonable argument. Fend ensures that your zombie is free, and then you can just foul stuff.
Push it down the line into the next waiting player to hit it. Like, no one. I mean, anyone who's punching zombies down the line is not gonna just like push you off for fun. Anytime you're playing a bash coach,
doesn't have to be LOS. Like, you don't need to put him on the LOS.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. But he's talking about putting him on the LOS fodder.
Savari is still around. He's still armor 6. He who catches unseen is 1 SPP from Legend. I want to know what that Legend skill is. We're going to see it next game.
Though he's going to die. I swear to God.
He's gonna level to Legend and die in his next game. Calling that right now.
Skill will be death.
Legend skill is death. Adrastia still around. 10 SPP until we can pick up another skill.
Yep. Deadwish has tackle. The Sif Moon especially. Yeah, exactly. Fleur de Lys has block, so he's blodge. Nothing really exciting. I love break tackle on trees. It's really funny to me all the time. Movement 2, break tackle. Easy game, easy leg.
Like, one or two levels on that thrower, and suddenly this goes from a like he who catches unseen running the ball up the field kind of thing into a like really serious, like way easier. But it doesn't do much now, but there's a lot of potential if he survives. Ragedorf. They were doing so well to get caught back up, and then
got clawed, or they got orked, I guess, in this case.
I mean, they're still okay, but I mean, it's just a 1300 sort of dwarf team. There's not a lot of guard lying around, which is kind of what you want.
Master Dwarf beating an AV bust is really a huge pain.
I mean, yeah, this team is... But the really good news is that Hellsdorf has picked up Agi, so that's really handy.
The second best thing a runner can get.
Yeah, so he's got his... He only had his defensive runner for a long time, and now he's got an offensive runner started. He's still a huge target because he is an Armor 8 non-block player on the Dwarf team. So you'd love to get him block, but you don't pass up that Agi. That's a really big deal for the offensive runner.
He's got guard that's new on Grandmaster Dwarf. He's 3 SP away from all Dwarf getting stand firm, which will be nice. Nothing new other than that, but yeah, the Agi is nice. Yeah,
Furious Dwarf still around and doing furious things, and a bunch of rando long beards. I like Asha Dwarf. That's kind of funny. And
then we have
they need some guard, just a bunch more guard, but they're cycling through Dwarf slowly. It's hard to keep them up. Yeah.
Yep. Atomics' team is healthy, except for Lord Farquaad, who is a redone Nurgle warrior, but he is 1 SCP away from getting probably Mighty Blow to accelerate his growth. You've already got 3 guard. That's not a ton.
No, I would take Mighty Blow.
I would be conflicted.
I would take Mighty Blow.
He's got another Blodge Pestigore that might be going guard as well. Barry Sanders might pick that up at 31, but he's a long way from that. We've got an AV busted dirty player who needs to go. We've got an AV busted rookie that needs to go. We've got this guy Niggled.
We need a 4th Pestigore, but you probably don't.
Double engineered.
You gotta be...
No, because you need to level, or well, you're not going to hand off to a Nurgle warrior, I guess.
No.
But you really want to level Barry Sanders. I don't know if you.
I think you level Barry Sanders and then buy another one. But if you're already 170k, I mean, Nurgle like Pestigores are expensive as hell. So that's not really. I mean, you could consider it, but it's kind of a long-term play. It's not going to help you in the next game at all. In fact, it'll make it harder because your TV is going to go up. Maybe consider like Wizard shenanigans. Check to see what the inducements are like, and just start to get them on the field for the chances at an MVP. But if you're trying to do this like absolutely optimally, I think you level Barry Sanders one more time before picking up another Pestigore, because right now just Blodge is not going to accomplish a whole lot. But like Blodge guard or like whatever his plan is, suddenly he actually has like a job and can do a thing, and then you're not so worried about what are you doing with him. But right now he doesn't really do anything.
Yeah. So that's all that said. Nothing has changed on this team, so we'll move on.
Not particularly, no. I mean, the dodge I think is new, but
I seem to remember it being there, but maybe it's new.
Well, lack of
Then we have the Green Skin Brawlers. The ideal orc team still has 0 injuries, has 8
such
guard.
A good orc team. Look at this team.
8 guard, 3 blodge, one of which is strength 5, one of which is strength 4.
It's just like a custom orc team, just like thrown into a league.
Yeah, like this is like, I mean, other than the thrower being a bloaty piece of shit, this is like the ideal clan orc team. Like clan orc teams end up looking kind of like this simply because you can pre-build them. I mean, they never get this bloaty, obviously, because clan is all about lean teams. But this is probably what you'd end up with. Like you can start with 4 black guard black orcs, and everyone does. So this is kind of like very much typical of clan.
I mean, it's kind of big for a clan team because for the most part, they're not going to level.
Incredibly big for a clan team. They're usually like 300 or 400 TV lower than this.
Yeah, and they're not going to get 300 or 400 TV in a season, and they're not going to be able to keep that much going over into the next season. But it's no injuries. All the skills are great. Like Legend Blitzer, Sorok is great. Morkanest is great. Like, oh no, one of his Blitzers only has 1 level, but in 3 SPP he'll be able to get something. Probably another stand firm, maybe.
Rachni.
Yeah.
I would consider another tackle as well.
Yeah, that's a good option.
2. So things that are new, dodge on Eat Spleet appears to be new. Stand firm on Smash Throat.
That's 2 Blodge Guard Black Orcs. One of them is Strength 5. Ugh.
Stand firm on Mordar might be new.
Gross.
Not a lot else. This team is
Blodge firm.
I mean, it doesn't need anything else. It beats the shit out of any other pitch control team unless they immediately start removing it.
If you took that like accurate and replaced it with Agi, then that would be perfect, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, 3 Linos, gross. I don't want to play it. I still have to though.
Oh, you haven't played him yet? He's gonna kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
We have Thessa's team now. Still looking pretty good.
He took a bunch of damage recently.
Chaos Warrior. Yeah, he just lost another Chaos Warrior. He's only got 3. He does not have the money to replace, I should say. So it's going to be a little bit there. Still not that bad. Is a little guard starved right now because of that. It's only got 4. One of them is the Mino, who is not the most reliable to reposition.
But Darwin, he's so good. I love Darwin.
He continues to exist.
He's a hero.
Only 69 SVP from Legend. So
I know.
Soon.
How many
6
Legend
SVP away
have we
from.
Seen?
I don't know if we have any, to be honest. Einstein is only 6 SPP away from probably Stand Firm.
Yep.
Schrodinger has recently picked up Mighty Blow. I think that makes sense. He's going to die eventually, but that is what it is.
He'll then get Claw, and then he'll get Stand Firm or Tackle.
Yeah, Vanderwalls 2 might be a new Wrestle pickup. Doesn't really matter. I don't know what he's doing with Wrestle, a second Wrestle Goat.
I mean, he could just be a Lino
Wrestle
Goat.
Goats are just fine, yeah. I mean,
not currently, because he has got 3 rookie goats, but at some point, or there's no reason to not have a second option when you have 8 goats on the team or whatever, compared to what Nurgle have, where you get 4. Having duplicate
goats do I have?
Having duplicates of a role isn't bad because you have enough goats to afford that. So you can have a second.
I have 3 Wrestle Goats. Who am I talking about? Oh, though I'm building one to replace a Navy busted one. So
Boar is 6 SPP from another level because already Raj tackle 2 heads. I mean, you could go strip, but I don't know if there's very many non-sure hands teams lying around. But I don't know what else you could.
I would go 2 heads. Oh, he's already got 2 heads.
Yep. Could go strip, but I don't know how many non-sure hands teams.
Go strip. Pray for a double for leap.
I don't know if you want. I don't think you'd ever leap when you have 2 heads. Dodge.
Would you take Frenzy? Yeah, Frenzy isn't bad.
Yeah, if you're not Frenzy or strip ball, depending on how many sure hands opponents you have left, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dirty player goat, some rookie goats, and Darwin, who is my favorite player ever.
And finally, the Bad Apples, your opponent this week.
Yep.
They still have a billion dodge. You're gonna lose.
Yep.
I mean, you could clop on them to death, but I think it's probably going to go poorly for you.
I have 1 claw palm. It also has tackle. I have 1 tackle on a Nurgle warrior who's double niggled.
Honeycrisp II is going to Mighty Blow punch that warrior to death.
Oh, probably. If I had my beast, I would probably be a lot more okay with this because generally I can at least tie up, get a 2 for 1, or if I'm really lucky, a 3 for 1 by just making a couple elds have to roll dice to do anything, and then suddenly it's a pseudo player advantage.
Is there no Nurgle warrior? I mean, you could get a rookie. You could get an induced beast of Nurgle.
Might not be a bad idea, actually. I haven't even thought about my inducements for this matchup, and I probably should. And that might not be a bad idea, because really, if I can just take a couple pseudo remove a couple of players by tying them up on a beast of Nurgle. The problem is with all the blodge and stuff, the dodges are likely he's gonna uphill block him just with block or wrestle pretty reliably because I don't have anything on him.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's gonna be hard.
It's still a red die. It's still a foul appearance. I don't know.
We could go max Spleen Ripper and just try to chainsaw some elves.
Yeah, no, that would be a terrible play. I'll be right back. I don't think you can afford a Stand Firm beast.
Probably not. I mean, he's at 1730. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep. So he's got a full team. 1730, and I'm going to be at 1550 because I get a rotter. So 50, 100, I get 180, right? So I can get a beast if I wanted one. You get a wizard. I could get a bribe, which might be a good option. Just to try to remove players, but I'm not going to win that game. Ugh, this team is so bad now. Gross. And I need to save up for a beast. I can't afford to buy anything. So we need to predict for this week, but he just stepped away. So we'll wait for Shadorra to come back. We can talk about my inducements, I guess, if we really want to. Pretty sure I was right though, that I get what, 180, or am I being crazy there? Like, what's impressive to me is that I still have a playoff shot with what that team looks like. Like, ugh. Next match TV is 1730 versus my 1550. Yeah. Bribe is probably good. Wouldn't mind getting a bench. I could go bribe and just like rookie rotter, or like loner rotter, just so I have another player for both bench and for foul. Wizard isn't going to do anything for me because I don't really have a good way of recovering. I don't have enough to get like a chainsaw and a bribe, so there's no point there. I don't have enough to get Lord Borak. Like babes are not going to accomplish anything, or an Igor aren't going to accomplish anything. I want, how much does a I don't remember actually how much a merc beast costs. Let me try to find that. I don't remember. No, I can't. I don't remember how much a merc costs above normal cost. Is it plus or minus 30? So beast is what, 140? So be, I could get a rookie beast of Nurgle as an inducement, which might not be bad because it would give me a bench and a beast of Nurgle. I wouldn't want to take any like blocks with him, but it could at least attempt to tie up a few elves. But yeah, Nurgle are expensive, man. I don't know. Probably what it could be, that or it could be a bribe, I think. Shadorra, come back. I mean, I guess we know what he's going to pick. He's going to pick the bad apples. I also picked the bad apples because that is pretty obvious where that's going, I think. We have Charlestown Chiefs versus Scooby and the gang. I feel like this has got to be... Oh, wait, no, this is Scooby and the gang. This is the really good Necro team. So good Necro team, Charlestown Chiefs. I mean, you get Slibley, but I feel like this has just got to be the Necro. Like, there's only so much inducements will do to you, or do for you.
What up?
Well, what do you predict? Like, you left right when we were about to start predictions.
No, I'm a rude boy. I predict the Dark Elves will have a field day with you.
Me too. What do you predict for Charlestown Chiefs versus Scooby and the gang?
I predict Scooby and the gang will win.
Me too. Fear and Bloating versus Archangel's Will. This one's a bit tougher. Fear and Bloating. I mean, Archangel's going to get crazy inducements, as per usual. And it's the Red Joker's Nurgle here.
He's pretty good against.
I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Mighty Blow. Strength 4, Agi 4, Wrestle Tackle, 2 heads.
2 tackle, but Gishmogors is a player.
Yeah, those are all things. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be. I think I'm gonna pick the Red Joker. Normally, I would pick like Archangel in this sort of scenario, but I think 1, Red Joker's doing really well this season. 2, his team's in really good shape. I think he's gonna be able to chunk through enough Wood Elves to, you know, make it relatively easy, especially since he has the Agi 4, Strength 4 like sacking threat. Like, you can't just throw a couple rando elves in the way, because he's going to be able to just dodge through that if he really wants to.
I think the Wood Elves will win.
Okay.
Fogmire Fen Beasts versus Rage Dorfs.
This will be fun.
Fogmire Fen Beasts. Lizards traditionally do well against dwarves, and these are basically like fresh teams. He is down his Mighty Blow Frenzy piece. Mighty Blow Guard Frenzy piece, so he's only got 3 guard.
Man, okay, I need to pull up like REBBL to .net to see what these actual TVs are, because I'm not calculating
this. Dwarves also only have 3. I think this is probably lizards.
Fogmire Fen Beasts and the oops, not the Bad Apples, it's Rage Dwarf. So it's going to be Fogmire Fen Beasts will have 1640 TV, 1620 if they drop that cash. Rage Dwarf is at 1440, so Rage Dwarf gets 200 TV. What did you say you pick? I picked dwarves. Let's go opposite. We've got a good lead on points here. Like, we're above 50%. I can afford to make like risky plays and not feel like too much of an idiot.
Thick, rich, and creamy. So super battered Necro versus top of the table Nurgle.
Not top of the table Nurgle,
or mid table Nurgle. Probably the Nurgle still.
Probably, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of inducements for Jimmy, but there's only so far that's going to take you against a Nurgle team, I think.
REL versus
Chaos.
That dwarf tier or that orc team.
This is where the tackle would actually come in handy, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's a lot of guard and there's a lot of strength. Like, this is an orc team that's super good against other bash teams. But what tools do they have against Agi right now? I mean, they have Morknast.
They have Mighty Blow and Palm and tackle, 2 tackle. What do you think?
So I don't know. I think if this was just random coaches, I feel like I would pick Orcs. But knowing a little bit about ArchExcel and Professor Chaos, I think I want to go ArchExcel with this one. Like, it's a really good orc team, but a lot of those skills don't do anything against the elves. Like, all that guard and block isn't really super useful. And ArchExcel is going to do the elf thing where he like has his thrower sit in the backfield, and the orcs are going to do the orc thing that Professor Chaos often does, where he like walls up. And then at some point, ArchExcel is just going to be able to hurl the ball over the orcs and then go score. The orcs could potentially like can aim to do like a 2-1 grind, but ArchExcel is going to get a wizard, and that can shut down a 2-1 grind really hard. So I think it's super close. Like, I would toss a coin and be happy, but I think I'm gonna pick ArchExcel in the back of.
I pick Orcs. Next question. We just have tons of contentious picks.
Well, we're gonna go wild with points next week, I guess.
Cheese versus Chaos.
Well, so Cheese has a huge team, but it's got like a couple easily targetable players that are pretty high value because of the double niggles. Tessa has not as huge a team, but he's got players very capable of doing said targeting with a bunch of Claw Mighty Blow and Palm, and that Mino is really good. Once again, I feel like this could easily go either way, like maybe not 50-50, maybe 55-45 kind of thing, but I think my gut tells me Tessa, so I think I want to stick with that. Yep. I mean, Tessa's near the top of the table. He's doing really well so far. If we go off records, that's something to also consider. I think I want to pick Tessa for that one.
Yep, I also think Tessa will win.
Shall we go to Div 2 then?
Yeah. Okay, making good time.
Are we? Good.
Yeah, my game's not. It's not too far off, but I should have time.
Good. Okay.
Schedules. One person has played. It's
we have to go back 2 weeks. Remember.
It's Holes. I know. I just want to publicly shame Holes for a moment.
Oh, I see. Holes did mention to me on Discord that his game that we would have watched this week, if we were watching games, is a really good one. Potentially very interesting. So if you're looking for a game to watch, maybe go check that one out. But we're not watching games this week. But he did recommend it, so I wanted to shout it out a little bit. So Lackland Longtongues versus the Rebel Cheese Thieves. We both predicted lizards on this one, and we were right.
Did we? Oh, great.
Yep.
Are you noting these points, by the way? Because I'm not.
No, I thought you were, because that's your job.
I know, but I don't have the predictions, so...
Yeah, but I'm reading them, so I figured you would just make, like, tick marks.
We'll go back over off-stream and figure it out. I will start noting it now. Okay.
I mean, worst case, I can just do div 1. It's not that hard.
So we both picked lizards and we were right?
Yep. There is, one-turners on this rat team, but that's about all they have, and we figured the lizards would just bully them. And it looks like that's kind of what happened. 38 blocks, 5 KOs, 3 casualties.
Lizards can 2-turn, which is nearly as good, so it's hard to rat versus lizards unless you get a calamity blow piece.
Hornstars 2018 versus Battle Brothers. So this is one that we debated back and forth about, me and Fake You. You predicted the Chaos and I predicted the Bretts. So, I mean, tie. So I guess that happens a lot on the divisive ones. We tend to tie.
A dead loner peasant.
Yep, that's great. Dead. I mean, it feels like, if you look at the stats here, I mean, 55 blocks, 38 blocks, 5 KOs, 5 casualties sustained. That death was the peasant. 5 armor breaks versus 23 armor breaks. You'd be like, oh man, the Chaos just annihilated the peasant or the Bretts here. But this Brett team is they're basically elves, so it doesn't really matter as long as those armor breaks weren't on the correct players. They could still just score. Those armor breaks.
2-1 grind, it looks like.
Yeah, those armor breaks probably just made it 1-1 rather than 1-2. For the Bretts, but it's the Bretts can still tie it with players they have. Well, the players in chat will probably talk about it.
A Nurgle off, Abysmal Cuss versus Grungy Desserts. What do we pick here?
Abysmal. Oh, right. Sorry, I was looking at chat. So that's Stout versus Kodiak, right? Because those are 2 Nurgle teams. We predicted Stoutakiss's Nurgle team would win it, which is Grungy Desserts.
We both did.
Yes, we both did. It's just sort of the 2 big Nurgle teams. The bigger Nurgle team is probably going to win.
Yep. Did it ever?
Yep. I mean,
though not through damage. In fact, Sir Kodiak made more blocks.
They took basically the same number of removals, though. 4 KOs, 1 casualty, 1 casualty.
Yep.
Were the regen rolls significantly different?
No, there was 1 regen because there was only 1 Kaz.
And it didn't work. So nope. Okay. I don't. That's
a game of failed things. It looks like Sir Kodiak failed a bunch of dodges. He failed a bunch of pickups. Failed a good amount of foul appearance. Grungy Desserts. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
Forsaken Awoken versus Rebel Rage Quit.
You picked the non-Orabi team, and Orabi won.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. The other thing about this, so Orabi, yeah, both of us. Orabi was missing his claw palm and was missing, the Forsaken Awoken looked like more of a bashy team than Rebel Rage Quit did, because of the players that were missing. But it turns out it didn't seem to matter. 9 KOs, 11 casualties sustained. That's an Orabi game.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
That's 11
armor breaks on 34 blocks.
Yep. There were chainsaws.
Orabi, no, there was a Claw-Mighty Blow because Orabi was in the game, and Orabi is Claw-Mighty Blow.
Yeah, but he only has 1. There was only 1 Claw-Mighty Blow on the whole Chorf team, I think.
It looks like Orabi removed a player every block.
Yep.
Basically. He did not get MVP and got 14 SPP.
Yeah, ugh. It's not only hey, you play the game how you want to, but when you play a kill, I'm only gonna try to kill you team and then kill a player or casual player literally every turn, it feels like just the dice gods are rewarding you for being silly, and that just feels bad, for everyone involved. I think.
I'm sure Arabi was cackling maniacally.
Oh, probably, but that just feels bad. It's that's not only is it a team designed to kill you, it also got incredible dice throughout the entire game, it seems.
Speaking of incredible dice, BioWare for Life making which is a vampire team, making 32 blocks against Dark Elves and getting 26 armor breaks.
The Dark Elves got 2 armor breaks. So this is the game that I was talking about where I said you would be happy because I predicted Dark Elves and Fake You predicted vampires.
Excellent. I love Fake Me.
Yeah, red Shadorra or Shadorra Joker or whatever you want.
It looks like BioWare or Darcyfish just fouled him to death.
5 KOs, 3 casualties sustained, a boatload of stuns. Like, the Dark Elves made 16 blocks total, so 1 block on average a turn, which is like pretty nothing, especially when you're going against, you know, armor 7 thralls.
Yeah. So you lost a point and I got a point here?
Yep, correct. So yeah, Bioware for life, taking one down. Off, like, I kind of want to know what happened in this game, but like, it just also looks like some bullshit. just saying, that looks like some bullshit. Did we
Nurgle versus High Elves?
Yeah, this one had been the Greenie Weenies and Contract Killers had been played, so we didn't predict that one. But the Nurgle versus
I diced the shit out of them is what happens as Dive Sick Fish.
Well, there you go. That's what I expected from that result. Yeah, we both predicted the High Elves on this one, but we were both wrong.
It's a shame. I mean, it looks like Lewis got his Kaz dice on.
Yeah, and we did talk about that. I was like, well, if the Nurgle don't remove the Wood Elves or the High Elves like crazy, the High Elves have the tools to win this. But it looks like they removed them like crazy, considering that High Elves literally never had the ball ever.
Yeah, and the Contract Killers just beat the shit out of the Orcs. So that's that for that round.
Yeah, the High Elves did score one, so it would have been a 1 turn because they had 0% possession. But like, when you have a natural 1 turner and your only touchdown is a 1 turn, yeah, things didn't really go that well for you.
Yep. You lost a point and I gained a point, is the moral of this story.
Okay, we did better in the other div.
Yeah.
So in week 9, we didn't have predictions for this because we didn't do a recap last week, but we can look at results.
Nurgle versus Rats. The Rats have been having a tough time, so I'm not surprised to see the Nurgle pick up a win here.
Yeah, the Rats basically have a 1 turner and an almost 1 turner, and then nothing else. Like, their team is 2 gutter runners.
The Nurgle got out punched really hard. Like,
not in Shuttle Spike picked up the MVP, which is sad. He also got movement busted.
He's the movement 9 gutter runner, yeah.
Well, they're all movement 9.
Yes, right.
He's one of 2 gutter runners that you can induce. He's the
2 heads tails one, yeah.
Yeah, the other one is the stab one.
Nice. He's the strength 3 one though.
That is true, yeah.
Strength 3 gutter runners, OP.
He's expensive.
Yeah, as you'd expect. So kind of surprised. There was no damage. Like, Abysmal Cost made 57 blocks, got 16 armor breaks, and got 2 fucking removals out of the whole thing. Still managed to win.
3.
So.
There was a KO as well. 2 casualties and a KO.
Well, that's sustained. I'm talking about.
Oh, I see.
Block dice.
1 KO, and they also got a foul then in there somewhere.
A foul or a failed dodge.
Yeah.
So kudos to Sir Kodiak for pulling that
Glart, all that SPP was Glart. He got Glart Smash Rip, got 3 casualties.
Same with Hack Phlegm Shuttle Spike.
Well, he got the MVP, so he had
a vanity pass.
Well, I mean, he probably just passed it. Like, it was necessarily a vanity pass.
He needed to level Hack Phlegm.
He leveled 2. This is fun. It's always fun to watch star players get leveled in a game. He did it twice with this one. So not a whole lot of SPP, but yeah. So I mean, it feels like that seems like it was pretty unlucky that Rebel Cheese Thieves didn't take it. It looks like they played.
And then we have Necro versus Chaos. Necro pulling out a good win there. It's even blocks. Necro inflicting slightly more damage, and Necro have regen. So I'm guessing that this went... Yeah, regen went exactly as expected, 50%. Chaos don't have it, so they took more damage.
Chainsaw room.
Chainsaw.
There's been a lot of chainsaws this week.
Yeah, I don't like them. I don't know why people get them. They're a huge waste of money most of the time.
They're incredible on goblins.
Yes,
and
there you go.
It's because you have a rostered one. I mean, if you have a boatload of inducements and nothing to do with it, as long as you can get a bribe out of it, it's also good, because like, they're incredible fouling pieces. Man.
Yeah, but then they have DP, so they're just good at breaking armor.
They don't have. Well, you can get, if you're really lucky and roll doubles on your chainsaw as a goblin team, you can get a DP chainsaw, which is insane.
That's insane. Fine, but I'm talking about induced ones. Are loner, so they're making a 2+.
Yeah, it's
I don't
good.
think there's fear factor. I think what happens is you foul with it, and then the next turn someone just blitzes the thing that's standing there like an idiot, and it kills itself because it's got like armor 4.
Well, you have to protect them. Like, they can be really good if you use them well, but I find a lot of people don't use them well. So let's put it that way.
But even if you use them well, they remove themselves immediately 1 in 6 times. So.
That's my experience with them, certainly, but it doesn't always happen that way. You can also, one of the like sort of common things is like, you know, if you can use them as the blitz on like blodge players or whatever, but you blitz players that are already based, so that if you like fail the chainsaw or you don't break armor, you can just block that player again and push them away from the chainsaw so they don't get a free hit, kind of thing. And it's just like a chance to break through that blodge that you normally wouldn't get, like if you're trying to hit a blodge elf or something. I don't know how useful it's going to be against, you know, Necro, but like, you know, a blodge armor 7 guy, like, yeah, pretty good.
I mean, it's like blitzing with a big guy, right? You still lose your blitz action 1 out of 6 times.
Yeah, but
it's an option. I just don't think it's a very good one. People often suggest it as like I have no tackle, I'll take a chainsaw. And I basically never see that work.
I'm mostly thinking about it from the goblin perspective, because that's like the only time I've ever really used chainsaws. So, but they're rostered, so it's kind of different. Welcome to the dark side versus the Alackland Longtongues. 6 armor breaks, 8 armor breaks, 26 blocks, 42 blocks. Not a whole lot of blocks or armor breaks coming out of the lizards.
Don't usually have the tackle, and dark elves usually have the dodge, so that's not surprising that you wouldn't see a lot of damage coming out there.
There's a lot of dodge and a lot of the Lord Voldemort, the ball carrier / plus movement blitzer, picked up MVP, so that's going to be 8 for him, which is kind of cool. Getting close.
Yep. What did you? Oh, we didn't predict anything, right?
No predictions for these ones.
I would have probably thought, dark elves do pretty well against lizards, so I might have thought dark elves here.
I'd have to look at the teams, I think, to have a good opinion on that, because I haven't looked at them in a while. But I think it's
Battle Brothers versus Nurgle. Would not have expected the Battle Brothers to pull this out, but they did, despite getting the shit kicked at them.
70 blocks. Good lord.
Yeah. Lewis gets blocks.
How do you even get 70 blocks in 16 turns?
I mean, you have a couple of bad turns where you end up fully based, and they beat the crap out of you.
I mean, yeah, but if they beat the crap out of you, there'd be less blocks because there'd be less players to punch. Like, it looks like they're like everybody based and then a boatload of pushes and then suddenly removals. Like, I don't understand. But 5 casualties. Hopefully none of them were bad for Cleric, but he managed to win anyway. I mean, it's an elf Brett team, right? Like, so like surprising things come out of this team, certainly, because of how much agi there exists on those blitzers.
He failed 4 Kaz rolls, which I think means 4 of them were MNGs or worse. So he could be looking pretty rough.
We'll have to take a look at that team when we get there.
He's 1460.
The Greeny Weenies and Grungy Desserts. So Nurgle versus Orcs. Generally, you want to sort of go Nurgle on this one, because Claw Mighty Blow against a team that has a lot of armor 9 and wants to get into the punch fight can go in the Claw Mighty Blow favor on average. Regen and Foul Appearance sometimes screw up Orc plans. So I'm not particularly surprised, but it looks very even. 41 blocks, 47 blocks. But, you know, Nurgle managed more removals. And the Regen saved one of those removals. And, you know, 3 of those blocks failed because of Foul Appearance. Like, all of it is very, very, quote, average, but, like, just because of how skills work and stuff, the average means that it's more likely to go to the Nurgle.
There was also a failed Lightning Bolt, so that's a big deal.
920 in inducements is ridiculous.
And the bolt failed, unfortunately.
Oof. I still maintain that lightning bolts are broken. I swear, if you could go back and look at dice logs from like the API, I would do it. I'm like 100% guaranteed, convinced myself that I've failed more lightning bolts than I've made. I've convinced myself of this, and no one else will deny that to me.
All right.
I'm pretty sure I have. There's a period where I failed 7 in a row.
I know, but you say this literally every time we talk about wizards.
I know, because it's a thing that's in my head and won't go away. REBBL, Wage Quit, and the Contract Killers. So the non-Orabi Chorf team beat the Orabi Chorf team, which is interesting.
And in fact, out-removed them. Like, a lot.
The Contract Killers were in a rough position the last time we looked at them, like 3 weeks ago. So maybe they've recovered a little bit since then. But I would have said, like, you know, mirror match. Orabi probably has a really good shot at just removing the opposing team, because the Contract Killers were in a rough spot, but it looks like they've managed to recover. And yeah, because they outblocked Orabi, they out-removed him, or similar number of removals, but they outblocked him and they had the ball the whole time. So This may have been one of those games like my game versus Arabi that one time, where if Arabi ever bothered to pick up the ball, it probably would have been at least a tie, but it was probably likely that a hobgoblin or a bull like picked it up at some point and ran away, and then Arabi's like, okay, cool, more punching. So that's why it's like, I think this probably could have been a 1-1, but.
And then Fel with Codedall versus Bioware for Life. I would expect the High Elves to do well versus Vampires, and they did.
The Vampires got a crazy amount of armor breaks again, though.
Yeah, just beating the shit out of people, but not getting anything for it.
A lot of armor breaks, but only 2 casualties and 3 KOs. Like, they actually sustained more than they gave, but that's also because bites are a thing. It was not 9 armor breaks into 6 KOs and 3 casualties. Some of those were biting, I imagine.
Yeah, well, that's why you look at
the armor dice
versus sustained.
Yeah.
On 9 breaks, he got 3 KOs and 1 injury, which is about average.
Yeah.
Less because of Mighty Blow being around, probably, but still.
Like strength 5 elf that exists on this ridiculous team.
Yeah, and the only Kaz regent, so
yep.
Nothing.
But also, you know, natural 1-turner versus vampires. Even if vampires do things, you just 1-turn and hey, look, 2-1 or 1-1 or whatever the case may be.
The elves were pretty resilient. It's true.
It does look like, yeah, there's a lot of armor breaks that didn't result in much. But I don't know, how does the dice log work here? Do these armor breaks count against your own bites? Like, does this?
No. That's armor breaks inflicted by blocking, as far as I know.
On the front page.
Yeah, that's armor breaks inflicted. But maybe they fuck it up. Hold on, let me see if it's fucked for. Oh, it says here that he only rolled 10. Yeah, maybe it's fucked for
Vamps.
It might be fucked for vampires.
Because
if you look at the dice log, Fel with Codedall only rolled 10 armor breaks or 10 arm. They only rolled their own. They only failed 10 armor rolls.
Yeah.
So I think this is it has nowhere else to stick the armor for that, so it sticks it. That's really dumb.
And so there were 9 failures on the armor for BioWare, but there were 9 armor breaks for. So where did those armor breaks go? Like,
so they're nowhere in the dice log, as far as I can tell.
That's what I see too. So they just don't exist.
But the thing is, though, what's really dumb here is there is no armor roll for bites. Bites are an automatic armor break. But what's happening, I think, is that it counts it as an armor break in the inflicted column, even though there is no armor roll, and it shows up literally nowhere else in the dice.
Yeah, because the game is programmed to like assume that any sort of injury is from an armor break. So they probably when they're doing the like coding to add up this front screen, they probably like add up.
Yeah, but then they attribute it to your team.
Yeah, because you rolled it. As far as I can tell, that's what's happening, but it's bad. It's like stat coding, I think.
Okay, so I can never trust this front panel for.
I mean, never trust literally anything.
But in particular, I can't trust this.
Okay, so like, the Greeny Weenies
BioWare punched the shit out of them, but it's just not true.
The Greeny Weenies and Fel with Codedall have already played, so keep that in mind. It doesn't really matter when Not for Science is 7-1-2 at the top of the division right now. I don't have the
thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at the leaderboard. I don't have the div like stats open because I don't have the div predictor downloaded, but we can still it's not quite gone, certainly. I mean, Stouticus is 6-3-0, no losses yet, meaning he's only actually 1 point behind Not for Science. And Not for Science has played this week, so before this game he was actually below Stouticus. So a win this week for Stouticus will put him in first. A draw will tie him for first. Luis is in third with 17 points, so he's actually 4 points behind Stouticus. So as long as Stouticus keeps winning or drawing, he's never really going to catch that. But he's still solidly in third right now for that third playoff spot. And the Challengers Cup spot currently belongs to actually Choleric because of tie breaks that aren't done correctly in client but are done correctly on REBBL.net. Because Choleric and Urs both have 15 points with 4-3-2, so they're fighting for that Challengers Cup spot. Moneybags is at 13 points, so he's only 2 behind that Challengers Cup spot, so 1 win would put him ahead. Bernie is at 12, Queen Elizabeth is at 12, so they're a win behind that spot as well. And then we have Sir Kodiak, who's at 11, so he's more than a win behind that spot, which means he's probably not going to make it, but it's possible if the people above him start losing. And then pretty much out of the running at this point with 9 points are My Nemo, Dire Sickfish, and Holes. Arabi is down at 6 points, and Jericho Peppers is in last right now with 5. So 2 sort of running away with the division right now, but the fight for 3rd and 4th is still pretty much alive between the next 4 to 5 teams. So let's take a look at some teams. So we've got Not for Science, who's still 22-10. He's still got a natural 1-turner. He's still got a plus on literally every elf on the team. He's got the strength 5 Lodge Frenzy catcher, who's super annoying, but nothing new. He's still 70 SPP or 69 SPP away from Legend.
You didn't do that the last time we had someone who was 69 away from Legend, but you do it this time.
Well, I was doing like the sarcastic, haha, that's funny because we're all children, sort of joke, but I didn't notice the first time because I'm not a child. I didn't notice when 69 happened before.
It's, Tessa's.
I didn't notice.
I know.
Yeah, 2 still. I don't think there's anything new there. In closer to Legend, Lord Myth and Elmar is almost there. I don't know what you do. I don't know. I don't even know what to talk about with this team. It's he's almost Legend. What do you take? I don't know. He's probably going to roll a stat, so who knows?
Probably going to roll his 4th double.
Yeah.
Stand firm. I don't know, something troll.
Piling on Mighty Blow, Juggernaut, High Elf Blitzer? Alright. He's also Agi 3, so he kind of needs those strength skills. Take dodge on a High Elf as your Legend skill. Yeah, I mean, I guess. He is Agi 3, though.
No.
Natural 1-turner, another good catcher. Guard lineman, another guard lineman. And some idiots. There's a rookie catcher. There's a new rookie catcher. No levels on him yet. He's probably going to get Agi 6.
Nothing really new except for possibly the guard and tribunal. Yeah.
This catcher's next 2 levels are both going to be plus Agi. Because he's going to have double plus strength, double plus movement, double plus Agi, just to round out the...
And then double plus armor value.
Yeah, that's important to have an armor 10 Lino. Dire Sickfish, Bioware for Life, 2k vampires, pretty big. And it's all on vampire. Well, we have a relatively new vampire, I think, in Hawk, which is a little sad, but he's picked up he's got only 11 matches, so he's not one that we haven't looked at before.
Hawk, yeah, he's been around for a while.
Yeah, but he's not
Blodge. Strength 4, Agi 4 Blodge. Only.
No, I mean he's not a liability, I guess, anymore, right? He's got the standard reliability skills in Blodge now, so you don't have to worry about having to dedicate a reroll to whenever he does a thing. Because you have it pretty much already taken care of with the skills, so you can be more aggressive with Bloodlust rerolls. Agi 3, Agi Bust on Ball Spawn is kind of annoying, but I mean he's piling on Mighty Blow, Jump Up, Tackle Block, and a Vampire.
Jump Up is still a 2+, it's fine.
2 Strength 5 Vampires.
He's worse at Gazing, so you've only got 3 or 4 viable Gazers.
Which is as many as most Vamp teams have.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, it's a solid team. I love the Blodge plus movement Thrall.
He's the ball carrier. He's been around forever.
I know. He's doing work.
72 matches on that. It's a Thrall with 72 matches, has never picked up an injury, and he's passed the ball 1 time in 72 matches.
it's more matches, I think, than any of the vampires.
Maybe?
All the ones I've checked so far, at least.
28
the
matches.
Only surviving original player, yeah. The Warden is close at 66.
So really, Jaheira is the captain of this team, and he's the power behind the throne, I guess, of all the vampires, and he's ordering them around. Is my headcanon for this team. Is that he's really in charge. The power behind the throne.
He's Renfield.
Yeah, exactly.
Renfield.
Open your eyes and look around for other vampires.
You're unsurprisingly a lot better at that voice.
Diseased! is my favorite one.
It's a fun game. Yeah, Diseased. He's like always really thrilled to see him. Hadn't seen him in years, you know.
Diseased. How good to see you. Rebel Rage Quit. Arabi. Arabi is here. He's picked up Dauntless.
Of course.
Well, I mean, he's got Piling On, Mighty Blow, and Claw. What else do you take? I mean, he's and Tackle, I suppose, technically, because he's a Chorfs. Dauntless, might as well give that extra chance to hit the bigger guys.
Could have gone Jugs, but I think Dauntless makes some amount of sense. He's got a rookie Bull Centaur because the other one has died. I really like just all the names.
Turd Nose Ferguson.
Yeah, you know, and Michaels really sucks. Lickety Split, Larkstar, Some Gone Gold Loser, Ode to Jimmy B. I think he just gets a Hobgoblin for every coach he beats.
Maybe. Stabin Sherbatsky is the other claw guy, but he's movement 3. But he doesn't have Mighty Blow yet, but he will in 2 SPP, and with the way Arabi plays, he'll probably get that pretty quickly. The both Bull Centaurs were rookies as of recently, so he's picked up the Silly Tar, has gotten a couple levels to take the standard block Mighty Blow. His next level will be Piling On, calling it right now. Grungy Desserts and Stouticus. The Beast of Nurgle is guard stand from Break Tackle. Hey look, surprise. We saw that before. Rookie Nurgle Warrior, well not quite rookie, he's got block at least, which is good. It only took him 8 matches to get there. Nurgle Life.
Yeah.
3 other ones. 2 are movement busted, which is a little sad, but they're too good to get rid of with strength, block, tentacles, and the other one is being the standard Nurgle Warrior package. But with a rookie one around, you don't drop. You don't want to have 2 rookies around in high TV Nurgle. 2370. Oof. Yeah. Sponge Cake Man, we've seen him before, nothing new. Yellow Lead Brownie, I think Big Hand, is that new? Is Big Hand new? Because I don't remember Big Hand.
I thought Yellow Lead Brownie was already a legend, but maybe I'm crazy?
I don't think so. No, Big Hand has got to be new. So he's Agi 4 with Big Hand, which is kind of interesting, because that is only going to really help when there's like 2 to 3 tackle zones on the ball. But with Agi 4 and 2 heads already, I think it's actually good. If he didn't have the Agi, I wouldn't like this, because like, so there's like the 2, if the ball is in enough tackle zones for Big Hand to matter, it's very likely that you have to dodge onto it, right? Like that makes sense. And if
not necessarily, but yeah, I
mean, if it has more than 2 tackle zones on it, it's pretty likely that you're going to have to dodge to get on those 2 to get on the ball. So and dodge into a tackle zone. So the fact that he's like essentially Agi 5 when dodging means that Big Hand can probably get a lot more use than if he was just like Agi 4 when dodging without the plus Agi or the 2 heads. If that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't like this if he didn't have the Agi, I think.
Yeah, I think Agi 5 means that even if you're diving into 2 tackle zones, it's only a 3+. So.
And he has a reroll. So, yeah. And a lot of situations in which Big Hand is going to matter, there's going to, like, in my mind anyway, sure, there's like niche situations where like they're both tackle zones are on like one side of the ball, and then you're like going to have to walk in and then dodge out, which is going to be a 2+. But I think in a lot more situations, especially when you like have someone like Sponge Cake Man doing a dive into a cage or whatever, wrestling the ball free, where Big Hand is going to matter, the dodge is going to be a big part of that play. So if he didn't have the Agi 5 equivalent for dodges, I don't know if I would have liked Big Hand, but I think it's pretty good considering the other skills he has, which is kind of cool. I like seeing that. Anyway, that's enough about one particular player. All Apple Pies is Agi 2 now, but I don't remember how old that is. Donut in a Hole is movement 8 now, but I think he was movement 8 for a while. Block Frenzy Juggernaut, like a terrifying surf threat from the center of the... I mean, he's a werewolf with Juggernaut now. And horns. So it's like... solo self... like he's just like a one-man blitzing machine, or one-man surfing machine. He's got Frenzy, movement 8, block, Juggernaut, and horns. So it's just like...
It makes the block almost a waste, because you're always going to be blitzing with him if you're going to be hitting.
Oh yeah, you're going to always want the pushes. So the block isn't actually...
Well, because the Juggernaut turns the bolt downs into pushes anyway. It's kind of like that Khorne player that is like right out of the box, horns, jugs, frenzy.
One of the demons, yeah.
Yeah, where you just I think it's the blitzer types, like the two of them you get that have strength access. I think people are basically like, you don't Herald actually need to give them. I had to go look, but they're basically like, you don't need to give them block right away, because sure, you need it defensively, but if you're surfing with them, you never need it.
The two positionals are a Herald and a Bloodletter, and I don't remember which one is which, but one of them is that, and the other one is a player that has like vampire skill access, like it's general agi, passing, strength.
The daemon. Yeah, the four daemons are like the only ones without frenzy.
It's blood
horns. I think they're horns, jugs.
Well, there's three positionals. There's the Bloodthirster, who's the crazy big guy. There's the Bloodletter, and there's the Herald, who are the two positionals. And one of them is like horns, and Juggernaut, and the other one is like frenzy something.
I'm pulling it up. Bloodletter Daemons are, you get 4 of them. They're 80k, 6337, GAS access, horns, Juggernaut, regen, and then the Khorne Heralds are 6338.
But they're all access.
Strength and frenzy, horns, Juggernaut.
Doesn't one of them get general agility, strength, passing?
No, they don't get passing. They get GAS, which is
Still
all
good.
you want anyway, because the pit fighters have passing, so you can give them...
For some reason. The leader, I guess.
Mean, there's 70k rerolls, so I don't hate like going in for a 2 reroll start and then building a leader kick. I really want Khorne to be in the game. I'm gonna hate them, but I'm gonna quit my tryhard team and just play Khorne.
No, the absolute best starting roster for Khorne is 2 rerolls, 10 pit fighters, and 1 bloodthirster, because that's all you can afford when you buy them.
You can do 3. You can do 3 rerolls and a bloodthirster. Yeah.
Still, 10 pit fighters, a bloodthirster, and 3 rerolls. Go.
Yep. Anyway, we got incredibly off topic. Staticus's team is disgusting.
Yep, Cleric. And here you can see what I'm talking about. Like, so the injuries, he's got an
all MNGs already checked, but
yeah, but it doesn't matter if you lose like a million peasants. You've got 3 Agi 4 blitzers. One of them is Agi 4 Strength 4, which is not new, but we've talked about that before. But like, it's a vampire team without having to do bloodlust and not having like hypnogaze. I know we make stupid like it's a vampire based on stats jokes all the time, but I mean it's that sort of style where you've got 4 players who are really, really good and kind of carry the team, and then the rest of the team are just idiots who are there to sort of like support you. I don't mean like vampires in terms of stats. I mean like sort of play
style. Yeah.
It's very
what
tall.
I do love is that the hand of Davkul is literally just Griff.
Yeah, he is. He's strength 4, agi 4, dodge, sidestep, sure hands, fend, block. And okay, sorry Staticus. I haven't looked at any of these teams in like 4 weeks and haven't like thought about Blood Bowl for like 2 because I was in a different country. I forgot a lot of things. The 2 blockers being out, especially the guard one, is going to make his next game a little annoying because he's going to have 3 instead of 4 players and a bunch of idiots. He's going to have 3 players and a bunch of idiots. And
well, he can afford to buy a new one, or maybe even 2.
None of those are perms though, right? They're just MGs.
Oh, sorry, he only wants to buy 1 probably.
Yeah, you can buy 1, and then you at least have 2 wrestle guys, who are kind of annoying and slightly more armor and more.
Well, you want 1 around anyway to start developing. So
yeah, I think you buy 1. But it's great. So much development on these blitzers, which is exactly where you want it. And as long as these blitzers live and stay alive and stay healthy and uninjured, it's going to be a great team because it's these 4 guys and then whoever you can like build around them to just assist. Because it's, agi 4 strength 4, it's an agi 4, it's an agi 4. They're all lodge step, tackle, mighty blow, pro. Just like they're super annoying to knock down, high skills. Like they're very good.
It's pretty gross. I'm gonna grab a new beer. I'll be right back.
Urs and the Lachlan Longtongues, in our tradition of looking at slightly smaller than average lizard teams, we have this one. Although this one is in better shape than some of the REL 1 lizard teams. There are actually 6 Saurus here. One of them is MNG'd. I think that's not a Nurgle. Yeah, just an MNG. One of them is a rookie, unfortunately, with 0 SPP, but it's only 1, so that could be worse. And we've got the Agi Skink, who can do stupid Agi things. We've got the defensive Skink, the lodge step, diving tackle, annoying one that you can mark up elves with and have them be sad. And they're going to get 2 dies, but he's blodge and sidestep, so you can kind of stay on the ball, and they're not going to dodge away his diving tackle. And if elves are not dodging, then you're in a good spot. And we got the start of a 1-turner. I mean, he's going to need another movement up, but a movement 8 is already cheating. Movement 9 is even better. 3 guard source, guard Croxagore, Claw Peck is also he's the blitzer one, so guard is less important for him. He's not going to get stuck up a lot. He's the one who's going to actually do the blitzing, so he's got some good skills for that. In 2 SPP, the Qua of the River, the guy who started with break tackle, which is kind of weird. I've heard Lizard coaches talk about that before. Like Dwiggy talked about this when I met him like earlier this year in San Diego. He likes to have like 1 break tackle first Saurus just to have like the safety option potentially. But eventually he's picked up block and guard as well now. He's 2 SPP from something else. Tackle is a good option there. Maybe stand firm.
Count Dooku?
Qua of the River.
Oh, Qua of the River. Yeah, he probably could stand firm. I would take Mighty Blow on Count Dooku, probably. Issa gets guard, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's like starting to come back together, but it's still got some ways to go. Slat of the Swamps is 1 SPP away from Sprint, which will really make 1-turns a lot more viable. So.
Or movement again.
Or movement again would be ideal, of course. A movement 10.
Movement 10 skink. Well, he needs Sprint for that, though, right?
Yeah, but, I mean...
That's free once you get to that level. It's a normal.
Yes, exactly. And, you can level a natural 1-turner, or nearly natural 1-turner pretty fast.
1 push. Score.
Well, yeah, the thing you have to be careful to get, like, 1 push and then clear everyone away from him, because he's still only Agi 3, but, yeah.
No, Hornstars, my Nemo. Let's see. 4... There's no Minotaur in this team. Sad. There are 4 Chaos Warriors. 1 has gone the standard Chaos Warrior build so far. 1 has got dodge instead, which is pretty good later. It's definitely later in the development, so it's not going to slow down his development really any. He's already block claw. Now he's just harder to knock over. This tackle, I think, is pretty new, and that makes a whole lot of sense on the Stand Firm Tentacles Chaos Warrior. More the control piece there. Young Sheldon is going the same sort of standard Chaos Warrior route. You could probably get Tackle next, or maybe Stand Firm. Depends on what you feel like you want. It's nice to have the Tackle on the Claw Mighty Blow Chaos Warrior somewhere, just so that he's more likely to get a couple of extra removals. We've got 2 Killer Beastmen. 1 is movement 5. 1 is MNG'd.
He's already got an absurd amount of tackle. I wouldn't get more tackle.
It's not about having more tackle. It's just about that extra Claw Mighty Blow hit chance to actually knock over a player.
At that point, if you're approaching dwarf level of tackle, he's got 5. It would just, it's so much wasted TV at this point.
The extra dwarf cast was all serfs, apparently. The crowd was very angry in the Professor Chaos Rage Dwarf match.
Super angry crowd. Yeah, it's a good looking Chaos team. It's got 4, good amount of guard. Not a lot of new stuff, but
I don't think there's anything super new here.
The tackle is new. The dodge might be new. This claw might be new on Young Sheldon.
Yeah, we have talked about the Warriors. There's a safety Beastman, and there's a ball carrier Beastman. There's a backup ball carrier
Richard
Beastman.
Rockhart has just picked up Agi.
Yeah.
So that's new and exciting.
It is, because he's a already movement wrestle tackle. He's a good sacker, and now he's better, so he can the dodge is easier if he needs to make one, or if he does get a good sack off, it's potential he has a good potential for picking up the ball now as well if he needs to.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can develop on normals. You pick up 2 heads. On doubles, you pick up leap at this point.
Yeah, leap is probably better than dodge now.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah,
and especially with movement 7, it's a game changer.
If you roll double 6s, do you take strength or leap?
If you strength.
Yeah, probably.
I was like double. No,
probably. I was just hoping we could get a little.
The thing about chaos is, no matter what you've given your player, every player at some point needs to do everything.
Pretty
my
much.
dirty player wrestle piece has made crucial blocks, has sacked, has carried the ball, has scored. Like, you know, it's you're always in a position where like you have one available goat that can do something, and you can never just be like, this player is only a sacker. Like, the strength is just so much better in all the instances where he isn't sacking, and also the instances where he is sacking. So
the number of times I've like picked up the ball with a Pestigore and then like hucked it down the field to like a scoring threat rotter receiver to like tie a game or whatever is pretty high. Like the players have to do on those types of teams. The players have to do everything, because you don't have the option of just like dodging out the important player to go do the important thing, because you can't really with AG3 reliably anyway. It's all about who do you have available, who can I make available, how can I position my team so they're available next turn, and sometimes you just don't have the option when they get stuck. Sir Kodiak, some Nurgle, Abysmal Cusp. Another Nurgle team with some stats. How jealous am I? Very. The ex-wife is a player that I would love to have now that I don't have a Beast of Nurgle anymore.
A shame. The market's dead forever. Thank God.
I have literally never bought a player from the market, so
Sace has dominated our division in no small part because of his blodge tackle Tomb Guardian that he picked up from that Camry team we used to recap for.
There have never been Broken Voice. There have never been enough Nurgle players on the market for everybody who's interested to actually get a player, and I've always done just good enough in the divisions that I'm at near the bottom of the list, and all the players are gone by the time they got to me, so I've never even had the option of buying a player from the market. Anyway, well, let's not rile up the masses with market talk, shall we? The peasants are revolting, or whatever.
So Avondale is new. Sir Kodiak has lost a Nurgle warrior, unfortunately, but had the money to replace it at least.
How nice that must be.
Die less.
Averaging more than one death a game right now.
Biogenetic Revolution has eaten a movement bust. That's a huge deal.
On a killer. That's annoying, but you don't replace him because the Claw Mighty Blow tackle is too important.
My Chaos Killer Warrior ate a movement bust, and it was relevant 3 times in the first game I played with him.
And you're like, why?
He snaked a GFI at some point, and I was just like, this is...
Was it the first GFI or the second GFI?
It was the first.
Okay,
it was the one he had to make. It was one he had to make because he was movement busted, though. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, if it was the second GFI, it would have been the first if he wasn't movement busted, which is what I was thinking of.
No. It was one he wouldn't have had to make if he wasn't movement busted.
Damn it.
Yeah. I mean, I won that game. It was fine. But, or no, did it? I don't remember which game that was. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
2 dirty player rotters. We got a rookie Pestigore. Well, not rookie, he's got blocked, but that's basically rookie because he doesn't have the job yet. The start of the sacker with wrestle plus movement, and the really good ball carrier is still around. And then a bunch of rotters. It's not as gross as some of the other Nurgle teams that we saw in Div 1, but it's on the way to that. It's got all the same players, but just slightly less developed. So it's not as gross, but it's got all the same tools. They're just not as good yet. Then we have Moneybags and the Forsaken Awoken. That Leap Wolf still around. Nothing new there though. Let's see. I don't see. Do we have any new things?
Mandred is quickly picking up steam. He's only been around for 6 matches and gotten 1 MVP, but he's got 22 SVP. So feeding that new wolf, fishing for the final double that he is owed. The Flesh Golem's got blocked.
He doesn't have any yet, does he? On the wolves?
No, he never did.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 wolf levels, so he's due.
Yeah, he's very due.
Gambler's Fallacy. Yeah,
I don't think there's much new. He's close to a bunch of levels, so nothing to see here this week, but soon.
Balthamel is now alone in his like plus strength plus agi movement bustness because the one in Div 1 died.
It's true.
He's alone now. The guard block kick zombie is very close to leveling. he's good, so you don't want to get rid of him. But that's just suddenly becomes expensive, and I don't know what to take anymore.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're okay with what he's got. I don't know what you take next.
You pray he doesn't get MVP is what you do.
You pray he never levels. Yeah, exactly. How many MVPs is that zombie eaten? I'm kind of curious.
I mean, if he does level though, you can't get rid of him because he's a guard block zombie with kick. You don't want to get rid of him, but like you just don't want another skill.
7 MVPs in 51 matches, so that's probably about average. Nah. 1-11-ish.
How many matches did you say? 51?
No, he's gotten more MVPs than his average for sure.
It's that, yeah, more than average. If there were only 7 players on the team, that would be average.
Expected value is 5. If for the standard 11-player roster, which is always what there is because loners can get MVP. So yeah. He's definitely been getting more than his fair share of MVPs.
Yeah, he's been getting MVPs as if there were 7 players on the team.
Yeah. Welcome to the dark side. Lost its super movement pieces, but still has a couple kicking around. 3 guard, which is nice. One of which the Joker seems to be new. I
think we lost there was a witch elf too that doesn't exist anymore either.
There were 2 witch elves, and they have both died.
I think last time we looked at this team, there was only 1 witch elf, but I mean, so there were 2 at the start of the season. There was 1 last time we looked at it. Now there are 0.
Yes.
Next week there'll be -1 witch elves.
They can afford to buy a new one, so they probably will.
How much are witch elves?
110.
Blitzers are 100.
I would guess 110. Someone tell me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. I don't play Dark Elves, but yeah, the witch died. How much are witch elves? Wasn't there 2 witches forever ago, or am I just not thinking?
I was right. I'm the winner.
Okay, well, there's 110. I mean, you could buy one, but then you'd have 10k left, which isn't a lot. But I guess you don't care as much versus as elves as you would with like a bashy team, because it turns out loner elves are still pretty good, even if you get them.
Even with a bash team, you would spend the money to replace a positional. Why would you save money to replace a positional instead of replacing a positional?
Well, it depends on what positional it is, right?
You've played Nurgle for too long.
Every
other team would totally spend their money to replace a very essential piece.
I mean, because, I could buy a Pestigore right now to go to 4 Pestigores.
Yeah, but Pestigores are garbage, which is why Nurgle logic only applies to Nurgle. Most positionals are pretty good out of the box.
That's fair, I guess. But I mean, like it could be. Or like I won't buy. There's a lot of times where like I could buy another Rotter, but I won't because I need to make sure I have enough money in case I lose a Nurgle Warrior or whatever. But I mean, witch elves are good, I suppose. So you probably want one.
Your Rotter death rate should have taught you at this point that you just don't buy Rotters. Buying Rotters is a trap.
Yeah, but if I didn't buy Rotters, then I would lose other players because they have to go on the line and stuff.
Robbie.
I've had more than 1 death. I'm averaging like 1.5 deaths a game right now. It's disgusting.
I get all of my deaths in single games. Like no deaths all season, and then I'll have 2 games where 3 people die.
Mine is like 1 1 0 2 1 1. Like it's. Ugh. Anyway, anything? I think that said new guard on this lineman, maybe.
Yep, I already mentioned that.
Yeah,
everything else. Well, the leap on Freddy Krueger is probably new.
He's a fake witch without frenzy.
Sauron is good. There's a couple of just good reliability skills that have been picked up.
I mean, welcome to Dark Elves. Good reliability skills is kind of the name of Dark Elves. Generally, they're not they're generally not the crazy bullshitty teams. They're just sort of like, hey, look, I'm 2000 TV and have blodge step on every player. Enjoy knocking me over, sort of team. But yeah, here's another elf team that outguards me, which makes me really sad. Let's move on. Luis,
it's a Nurgle team.
It is a Nurgle team. It's a slightly different Nurgle team in that it has less Claw Mighty Blow killers than the other Nurgle teams, but somehow gets more removals because Luis is a player. Because Luis is a player who exists.
Yes. That's his shtick.
I mean, so he's got the top 2 Nurgle Warriors who are Mighty Blow, Claw, Block, Tackle are very close. 13 is not that close for Nurgle, but 5 is pretty close, especially for Claw, Mighty Blow. So they're likely to get guard very soon. And then suddenly that wall of two Blodge Guard Stand Firm Warriors, because he's 2 SPP away from Stand Firm, and 2 Block, Claw, Mighty Blow, Tackle Block, Claw, Mighty Blow, Guard, Tackle Warriors is a pretty terrifying front line to have to wade through. Well, Garmelgors picks people off. He's got not the most disgusting ball carrier ever, but he's the basic Nurgle ball carrier now. Yes, that's how Nurgle work. You need 3 level ups to be the basic Nurgle ball carrier.
Right. I've got to go in 10 minutes, so let's
All right.
Get to predictions real quick.
2 SPP away, or 3 SPP from the Beast of Nurgle. Just 1 touchdown to get that break tackle. We have 3 teams to be quick through here.
Doesn't seem to be really other than that.
Holes, Greeny Weenies, Cutie Chris, or Cuddy Chris. We always get it wrong. 6 SPP from Leveling.
He says that's how you spell cutie. He's lying.
6
he's
SPP
missing a
from
black
Legend.
orc. Yeah, on Cutie Chris. Tackle on Bouncy Ben is new.
Which makes
Mighty
sense.
Blow on Little Liam is, but like not that exciting. So is whatever Big Boy Bobby is getting. It's probably Mighty Blow, maybe Stand Firm.
Mighty Blow or Stand Firm, unless it's like doubles.
You've got 3 Stand Firm already if you want to fight off the 1 turn, so I think you go Mighty Blow.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Might be doubles.
If it's doubles, I'd dodge. Yeah.
Could go dodge. You could go diving tackle, but I think dodge is probably better.
Yep, his build your own Black Orc down here, and the guard strength up block tackle fend piece is pretty good in Angry Angus. And then he's got a troll for some reason, but no
goblin. He doesn't have any money, but goblins are cheap. Maybe after 1 more game, pick up the goblin. Like there's almost, if you have a troll in an orc team, there's no reason to not have a goblin. Like the troll has uses, but you might as well have the goblin just so you have the option of throwing him. Like it's cheap. If you have the troll, just get the goblin at some point. There's no reason not to. Bernie Buffin and the Contract Killers. They're in slightly better shape than they were. There are now 2 Claw Mighty Blows, 2 guards, and a couple rookie Chorfs.
And Waluigi version 2.
Is Frenzy, but I don't think that's new because he's on his way to Legend, so he would have been on these levels for a while.
Punchbag Bob is finally approaching perhaps block.
1 SPP away from being block, which is probably pretty useful. But movement 7 is pretty useful on the Chorfs. You're gonna get away from your blockers, but your bull centaurs are good enough or fast enough to keep up with that. If you need to like potato away, you can still have a player or 2 to help do some screening with the 2 bull centaurs to follow up with that hobgoblin. Punchbag Steve, dirty player. We probably want to grab a bench at some point, but I think he's been working on that for a while. We can't really afford it right now.
Yeah, I'm still saving up in case something dies. And then we have Rebel Cheese Thieves, who has 2 1-turners. One is a nearly natural, and one is an actual natural 1-turner.
Yep. And then nothing else. I mean, this team. Oh, well, this strength is new.
It's got a sacker. I picked up Dauntless.
The last time I looked at this team, it was these 3 gutter runners and nobody else. Basically, there's the 2 1-turners and the sacker. Sacker now has Dauntless, like you said, which is really good to add on to that. Sometimes you'll get a 1 die instead of an uphill, which is really handy when you're wrestle strip.
Yeah, if the strip isn't doing something, it's good. If the strip is doing something, then you don't really care, because the red die and the 1 die are the difference is pretty marginal. With
strip wrestle, yeah,
it's like 7 or 8. Well, strip wrestle tackle usually.
Yeah, but, you're only really missing the skull if you roll.
Yeah, it's like 93 versus 98%, I think, something like that.
But it's a nice bonus. It's on the cases where strip ball isn't doing anything. Yeah, and then there's now the Feta has got Mighty Blow, but also a movement bust. Very slow compared to the rest of this stupid speedy team. And this rat
has Augur's been around for a while. I remember a strength lino and being like, why?
Well, because you have other linos now. He actually has 11 players, which is a new thing for this team.
Why?
All right, schedule and predictions.
Yeah.
Rebel Cheese Thieves versus the Contract Killers. So we've got the last 2 teams we just looked at. Rats versus Chorfs. I mean, there's a lot of tackle for those because they're Chaos Dwarves.
I mean, the Rats really should win this. There's a lot of tackle, yes, but not a lot of Mighty Blow, a lot of Wasted Claw, and there's a bunch of natural 1-turners. The Rats ought to win, I feel. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. Like, everything I've said about these 2 teams this whole season has just been wrong. So I don't really know what I should pick there.
I'm just going to pick the Chorfs.
I was going to do that.
Well, now you did it too. We're together.
Okay, I guess I'll pick the Chorfs as well. I think if they just get 1 or 2 removals, they'll suddenly be in control of things. So there's no bench, and there's only, since the Chorf team is pretty small, there's not going to be a whole lot of inducements.
So Nurgle versus Vamps.
Yeah,
this can be tough for the Vamps because Gaze doesn't get rid of Stink, disturbing presence, and Arakipa has them cast dice, so
yeah, Nurgle are my pick for that one. I think they're just gonna, good cast dice versus armor 7. They're gonna chunk through some of those thralls, and then suddenly there are less blood snacks for the vampires, and they're gonna be less effective. And then we can chunk through the vampires.
I'll have fun and say the Vamps will win.
Okay, it worked for you last week, and by you I mean Red Joker. Welcome to the Dark Side versus Rebel Rage Quit. So we've got Queen Elizabeth and we've got Orabi. Okay, so like every bone in my body is just screaming Dark Elves, because the Dark Elves are going to be able to pick up the ball and like leave, and Orabi is just going to try to punch stuff. But who knows? Like,
yeah, I mean, I pick the Dark Elves because that's how this works. But
yeah, it's entirely possible that the Dark Elves take some damage and they're going to be sad about it. But as long as they play like the ball and don't try to get into a big punch fest. And keep in mind that Orabi is not going to try to go for the ball. He's just going to try to punch you. So just think, what is exposed? What is he going to try to punch next turn? How can he maximize his blocks? Instead of how can I protect this ball, or how can I get the ball safe? Because you don't need to think that way. It's almost weird. You have to switch your like regular mode of thinking when playing him. Forsaken Awoken and the Grungy Desserts. So we've got Stouticus's absolutely ginormous Nurgle team versus a somehow almost as ginormous Necro team. It's still if you're a 2000 Necro team and you're telling me you get 300k in inducements, you're like, what? But that's what's happening this match.
Yep. So they're gonna get Cheney, probably Cheney and a wizard, maybe.
I don't know if I can get both.
Cheney's like 250k, 300k, 280k.
I think he's like 200 and he's 200 and something.
He's like 280.
Yeah, but so it's 300, so 280 plus 150 is not. You're not gonna scum that much. Let me check. Cheney is 240.
Oh, he's cheap.
So a wizard is gonna be 390. So and I don't think he gets 390, and he's not gonna scum 90 of his own money when he only has 100 against a Nurgle team.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, I mean, he gets 370, so maybe
350.
350.
Yeah, okay. I'd probably scum a little. Well, we'll see. Anyway,
it's
Nurgle or Necro versus Nurgle. What do you think?
God. I think Nurgle. I think normally if we were talking about Nurgle versus Necro at this high TV with the players that exist on that Necro team, I'd like Necro, but there's some really good players on Stouticus' team, like that Tentacles, the Agi 5 or the Agi 4 2 heads guy. Like there's going to be the movement 8 frenzy, can keep up with the wolves and stuff. It's like almost as if this Nurgle team was like, hey, I've got Necro at some point, let's take players that make sense for Necro.
Yeah. I also think the late game matchup is tough for Necro because they have the regen. Nurgle has the regen and the kill to keep up, and like just has a lot of skills that make Necro's life kind of hard.
Abysmal Cusp and the Battle Brothers. So we've got Bretts versus Nurgle.
So the kind of battered Nurgle.
Yes.
Still pretty. They're missing their killer as well, so they're not gonna have a killer. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bretts on this one, I think.
I mean, me too. We just watched. What like last week, the Bretts beat a bigger Nurgle team, right?
Yep.
So they're probably gonna have a relatively.
Oh, but they're only missing. Oh, they're missing one of their good blitzers.
They still have 2.
They still have 3. Well, I mean,
2
crazy ones and 1 decent one.
They still have Griff. So I want to take Bretts for that. I mean, we saw them beat a bigger
Chaos
team.
versus Lizards. I think I take the Chaos.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, in general, Chaos Calamity Blow versus Lizard's pretty good. These Lizards are going to be missing a Saurus. And one of them is a rookie. The Agi 4 Skink can certainly do things, but they're going to get Slibly, but it's not as good as it is against other teams. I think I like Chaos for this one as well. Okay, and with that, we will put up the title screen. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Sorry we took a break last week, but due to travel schedules, we were both gone and weren't really able to put that together, considering I'm the one who does the streaming and I was not here.
Yeah, and I was pretty busy last Thursday anyway,
but we should be, we're human beings. It's 13 weeks of coverage. I think you can give us a break on one. We should be back to the regularly scheduled time and place on Thursdays at roughly the same time. We're a little bit earlier this week than we normally were with this because Shadorra's got a game coming up right now.
I'm gonna jump right into it. Yeah.
So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As per usual, this will be up on YouTube as soon as I get around to doing it, which is probably sometime on the weekend. We will be back next Thursday. We will see you guys next Thursday. And until then, I'm in Steakmittens. And we will see you folks next time.